So, welcome to the Business Exchange, the show where we dive into the ideas, people, and innovations driving industry forward. I'm Joseph, your host. So, our guest today is William Huff. He's president and founder of Geopolymer International LLC, a company redefining the world of cement and ceramics with environmentally friendly and high performance solutions. Well, William, welcome to the show.
Glad to be here, Joseph. Thank you.
Good, good. I'm glad you're here too. All right. So, William, how did your journey into geopolymer and ceramic cement begin?
Well, it started a very long time ago when I met a gentleman that was coming through Las Vegas showing some of the different chemistry that was available. And I just want to explain that geopolymer and ceramic cement is synonymous. It's the same stuff. And it's not a brand new material. It's been used for thousands of years by our ancestors for the ceramic and porcelain type shoot that came off of concrete. There was concrete, and then there was ceramic and porcelain and terracotta and everything that they were doing pottery, and then they were using kilns. So basically, we're just coming back modernizing the chemistry to be able to use ceramic cement, or as we say, geopolymer.
Oh, excellent. Beautiful. So, when you first launched your company, what was the hardest part? Educating the market, scaling production, or earning trust?
Learning the chemistry. The chemistry is daunting because it's a molecular chemistry trying to weigh out the molecules to attach them. A polymer is a long chain of molecules, and to link those together with silica, glass, is a finite science that has to be very precise. And that is because it's glass, brings us into the ceramic field. So now taking that and reducing it down to an easy, digestible explanation for people to understand has been kind of my forte. To just explain it very simply, is if you take silica and you put it in a high alkaline like lye, like Drano, it melts like sugar melts in water.
Oh, wow.
Then you have a salt brine of glass syrup, which is called water glass or silicate. That glass syrup is the basis for a ceramic material. They use it in ceramics, silicates. So we then add that to ash or to pozzolans or metakaolin and clays that are reactive to that. That is the basis for your ceramic cement or your geopolymer material.
Oh, excellent. Oh, that's fascinating. Cool. So every founder faces pressures. What's the toughest business challenge you've had to manage in the last year?
Breaking into the industry, getting investment, and trying to make it acknowledgeable that we are headed down a road of non-sustainability. Portland cement has been around for 200 years, and it is the second largest used material on the planet, only second to water. So we are coating our planet with a material that only lasts 50 to 100 years and then cracks and falls apart. There is no Portland chemistry that lasts longer than that. So
Right.
everything that we're building today will have to be rebuilt within 50 to 100 years, and most
Wow.
people can't fathom that. It doesn't make sense.
Wow, that's interesting. I never thought of it that way. That all the cement projects are, or it could be a good make work project. I'm not sure. So if you were having a talk at midnight, what's the problem that's keeping you up at night and for your business and in your industry?
The problems, just the bandwidth, getting the information out. It's starting very slowly, even though it's been around thousands of years and we went down the Portland path. We're now trying to turn around for a more sustainable path, for something
Right.
that's actually going to give something back to society. Ceramic cement is fire resistant, waterproof, acid resistant, and it's also recyclable. You can crush it and use it again. So
Wow.
as far as we go on our planet, to use a material that's more sustainable is very important, but to get that out to the masses is somewhat daunting.
Yes, I can understand. Very difficult. So how do ceramic cements differ? Well, you no no sorry, never mind. You've answered that. I'll move on to the next question. I was just going to ask you what's the difference between that and Portland cement. So I'd say you covered that, right?
Sure, the
Yeah, yeah,
difference between calcium and glass.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Perfect. Yeah, that's a simple way to do it. So where do they outperform? Strength, heat resistance, sustainability.
well, first of all, look at Portland. It's a water base. We use that
Yeah.
saline glass syrup instead of water. So environmentally, it's much easier on the planet. But now that water is trapped inside the Portland, and if it's exposed to fire at 500 degrees, Portland explodes. Since we don't have that trapped moisture, it has a much longer resistant to heat and fire, and basically it's ceramic. There's a reason they put ceramic tiles on the outside of the space shuttle.
Yes.
Ceramic has
Yes.
those characteristics that help you in many different areas: the heat, water absorption, fire resistance. I'm sorry, acid resistance. Sewage is very acid because of uric acid. To be able to
Right.
use ceramic would make it last a lot longer because the calcium in Portland and the acid of sewage doesn't go together very well.
Right. Right. Um, are there technical barriers, supply chain, formulation, scalability that's frustrating you most right now?
Not really. We've become quite uh, lower cost, competitive to Portland. The energy that it takes to make Portland when they cook the limestone has been going up, while we're 92% more sustainable and our prices are coming down because more of the materials are becoming more and more available. The 3D concrete mixing formulas that are put out currently, we're right on spot with that price, dollar for dollar. But we then have a much better characteristics for longevity and fire resistance and everything else.
Gotcha. What's the biggest advantage of casting with ceramic cement? I guess you.
Longevity, I mean, and it
Yeah.
depends on what you're going to use it for. If you're you can cast countertops, you can do overlays on floors, you can spray, you can. I like it for 3D printing. We've come
Right.
across a lot of advantages. I was the one that printed the first geopolymer house that's ever been done. And I'm
Wow.
looking for that sustainability to keep moving forward, to be able to get in those cracks to where we really need it. We need to start looking at what we're doing for future generations than just building something. We got our money and then leaving them
Yeah. Yeah.
something that's crumbling apart for their future.
Right. Right. So, what mistakes do newcomers make regarding ceramic?
There's a couple of different types of ceramic cement. There's a water activated, which I call an alkaline activated mix. They call it geopolymer. I don't necessarily put it in the same category. Or then the liquid silicate and pozzolans that we use for the type that I sell. It's a two different type, and it's been miseducated in the universities. And trying to tell a professor he's wrong doesn't go that far. So I've just kind of backed out. This is what it
Yeah.
is. You can try either or. The alkaline activated has hydroxide, like lye, that will burn your skin. And I like to focus on much more safe
Right.
materials that can be used easily.
Right. That makes sense. So, how does spraying open new opportunities?
Spraying, one of the projects we have with PG&E, we're taking the power lines off and we're encasing them in ceramic cement, as you would do with power lines. Spraying geopolymer on different substrates help protect it not only against moisture but from high temperature like fire. So these are things that we're now seeing that haven't really been put out in large quantity, but we're always trying to do the cutting edges to try and move the different technology, 3D printing, spraying, casting, whatever we can do to start answering some of the problems that we're up against, because Portland really does not offer longevity or those things that work to our benefit.
Right. So, what industries are adopting it the fastest?
The electrical transmission, we're working to be able to encapsulate those power lines to protect um, life and property from fires. There are some ceramic companies that are now looking at, instead of using kiln-based ceramics, they're using, ours is a room temperature curing material so that it saves a lot of money. Um, from there, we are looking a lot to encapsulation of toxic materials. We can mitigate toxic materials like hard um, heavy metals and arsenics and things that we can now put into a concrete that is now safe so that we can build with it or use it for other application
Oh,
safely.
yes, that's very nice. So, is there a bottleneck, equipment, training costs that's slowing broader adoption?
I think it's going to come. A lot of the governments throughout the world are looking at just how we're building and the sustainability of materials. Why are we building with materials that we have to replace bridges and stuff in 50 to 100 years when we just got off on this path of Portland cement because it's cheap. Well, it's not as
Right.
cheap anymore, but you get what you pay for. So there's a bridge in South Carolina that's been built 3 times in the last 100 years.
Wow.
So
Wow.
we, yeah, we only need to build it once, and it will still last only 50 to 100 years. Our whole infrastructure that was built in the 40s is now falling apart because Portland chemically cannot hold together that far. So I'm suggesting that we start looking at alternatives. I also developed another material that I can now use broken Portland concrete and make it into concrete again with ceramic. So
Ah.
I call it the Gaza mix. Because if you look at the Gaza in Palestine, that all those broken buildings still have 70, 80% of the rock and sand. We can reassemble that and make
Right.
a superior concrete with it without moving all that back off and then moving it because it still has that Portland cement. We've been able to mitigate that, and we can actually now make a longer lasting concrete with the material that they have right there. So the savings of the billions of dollars that it will take to be able to move all that and bring new rock and sand is crazy when we can use what we have already on site. So those are the things that I get really excited about, to be able to actually move forward and affect change that is going to really benefit mankind.
Yeah, that's amazing when you describe it that way. Be able to have a huge part of your, I'll just call it ingredients to make your product already there, just sitting, ready to use. But you're right
Exactly.
on the infrastructure. And I'm up here in Toronto, Ontario, but in just the province of Ontario, the government has spent billions over the last 20, 30 years. What are they doing? Repairing bridges. So, you see them go, and they knew that was coming because, like you said, there's only 50 plus years that life they're getting out of it. Next thing because they had a bridge in Montreal collapse, and that was the start of it. And then, going along our main highway, just about every bridge that crossed the highway has been fixed in one way or another. Wow. Um, let's
Well,
see.
the problems that you have with your bridges is the chloride, the salt.
Yeah,
The salt and Portland cement does not go together. However, if you look at geopolymer or ceramics, it's made from salt. It's made from potassium and sodium, so it mitigates. It has absolutely no effect on the concrete whatsoever. So it will last technically thousands of years, or if you don't need it and we're not traveling upon the earth anymore, we're flying around, we can
yeah.
actually take that, crush it, and recycle it and make something else.
Wow. That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. Portland is a
So,
waste product that is just
yeah.
dead. Nothing you can do with it. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah, and I understand that now. It is quite enlightening what you've been sharing. Seriously. So, with regarding 3D printing, how are you integrating ceramic cement for the 3D printing systems?
We are now printing with the ceramic cement itself. The nice part is when you can come back a day later and print on top, and it actually fuses to itself. There's no cold joint like
Wow.
with Portland cement. So
Right.
the advantages are just continue on and on. It's very temperature resistant because it's a ceramic, and basically you're just printing with the ceramic instead of a Portland. When they're printing concrete, it's basically printing with stucco.
Ah,
Okay, and stucco is only going to last 20 to 30 years and start cracking and falling apart. Concrete lasts longer because it has the rock to help hold it together. But this technology is going to take a nosedive when things start cracking and falling apart, and it has to then be printed again. That's why I'm trying to educate people that we can bypass that whole rebuild phase and go
right.
straight to a material that lasts thousands of years. And we
Wow.
know it does because of all the ancient structures that have used these types of
Yes.
ceramic materials in
Yeah.
Europe that are still existing today.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. But I'm gonna ask you. It's probably been quite a uphill battle in the education process.
Absolutely. Um, I've been, I had an advantage where I studied with Professor Davidovitz at the Geopolymer Institute in France over many years. It takes years to be able to learn that. That's why in GPI, or Geopolymer International, we're looking to make it very basic and easy. Part A, Part B, and Part C. And how it works, and I don't need to get into the technical data of the molecular structures and the molar ratios and everything, because it's still just cement. So being able to bring that down to where people can get their hands on it and understand it and use it is what my path and focus has been, so that it makes it much easier for the common person to be able to use it. And as soon
Right.
as I get all my education together, I want to translate it into Spanish because it's the Latin world that uses more concretes than anybody else.
Oh wow. Wow. Um. All right. So what's been well, you might have touched on this, but what's been the hardest part of convincing industries to switch from conventional materials?
It's not really hard. They're looking for ways to make money. So
Right.
being able to take the characteristics that are offered with ceramics and being able to solve their problems in a value, cost plus value, really turns them on. I mean, once I'm able to educate them and explain to them what we're doing, there is such a variety of materials that haven't even been invented yet, because we're now getting back into using ceramics, and I'm applying more of the recycle materials, from rubber tires, plastic
Right.
bottles, polystyrene, even hemp and wood things, which have been proven quite successful. I mean, ceramic has a big characteristic of adoption that most materials don't.
Gotcha. If you could wave a magic wand and remove one recurring business headache, what would it be?
Um, just the investing. I'm looking for more people to invest into the industry. I'm getting older. In April, I'll be 70, so I have always that in front of me, that I'm not going to be here forever. And I'm really looking to start handing this off to the next generation, for them
Right.
to be able to pick it up and solve some of the problems. It's kind of like, instead of Mexico buying all the old telephone systems, they went straight to digital, so they didn't have to replace it. Well, we
Right.
could start doing that with the materials too in construction, in 3D printing, to be able to lower the cost and make a superior structure. To me, is a big plus using technology that we have.
Right. And just on a side note, you're looking pretty good for 70. I got to say that. Good for
Well,
you.
thank you.
You
I'm
must be
working at
doing.
it.
Yeah, see, it takes work, just like everything. So, um, how do you balance innovation with staying financially stable in such a niche market?
It's a struggle for me. It always has been. I've more or less financed the entire operation, and I'm backing up and kind of rebranding to make all the different materials available to people, so that they can get their hands on it and help the company grow. I can't really sell more materials until people understand how to use it and enjoy
Right.
making things, and so it's a balance. I'm rebranding to get all the materials in people's hands, and then they start ordering it more. So there's a time lapse that I've had, but most everybody that gets their hands, including artists, just absolutely love the material
Oh,
because
wow.
it's non-toxic. It washes up
Yeah.
in water. I mean, there's no negative really that I have ever really found with it.
Right. And I guess in the artistic world, an artist is going to want his work of art to be around a little longer than 50 years. They're probably hoping.
Exactly. It does give them a lot of benefits. It's a white material, so it can be colored any color. So it's
Nice.
kind of a new paint on their palette to be able to play with.
Oh, that's neat. So, where do you see the most promising new revenue opportunities to come from?
Um, I have some big projects coming that people have kind of tweaked in, say, well, this makes sense, this makes money sense. So that I have big projects that are going to probably take the company to another level. Um, as far as it, like I say, we don't know everything that we can do with it yet, and it's
Right.
exciting finding new things every day. I mean, nobody ever thought about 3D printing with it 10 years
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
So now we've already printed a house, but I see the housing is probably going to be the big benefit because I'm looking at there's precast. Well, we do pre-print where we can actually print the wall that's a hollow shell, pick it up, take it, and set it in place instead of trying to print in place. When you're printing
Right.
on site, the sun, the wind, the rain,
Right. Yeah.
everything is
Yeah.
an issue. If we pre-print in a factory, load that wall and go set it, one, it's very um, much less weight to carry and move, but it's also much more durable and the quality is very consistent. So we can take and set that and then core pour it on rebar that makes a more solid wall that you would do the same as if you poured it in place. So
Right.
pre-printing, I think, is an industry that's going to, bar none, take this all the way.
Yeah, and that makes sense because a lot of companies started I don't know how long, but prefabricating portions of homes and then just shipping it out and assembling it like a Lego, and that always makes sense. And the way you're describing it, that seems like a very excellent solution.
Well,
Um,
I
yeah,
default too. I'm a general contractor with a lot of building, so I love to build. So it kind of comes to mind of where are we excelling really? I think the pre-printing of walls is going to be huge.
right, excellent. I don't know. You kind of answered that. Uh, Well, I'm going to ask it. So, what can you share a standout project with ceramic cement? But you mentioned a home, but maybe there's something else you can share about a really cool project you've had.
Well, I like the PG&E project where we're taking the power lines off the poles and we're encasing them in ceramics because that way it doesn't cause fire and burn people's homes and kill them. I enjoy that. The I can't mention some of the companies that are doing
Yes.
some of the new bathroom fixtures and stuff in geopolymer instead of ceramics, but that is very well executed and moving forward at light speed. Mine is dropping back and start teaching the kids to 3D print with geopolymer so that we can lower the cost of housing and start using technology to deal with the issues we have today. And this is a big part of it.
Right. So, what lessons have you learned from these projects that you did?
I've learned that no matter how much you learn and how hard it is, there's always more past that because once you've learned another tweak or adjustment in it, it opens up another whole gallery of possibilities. And that's why I'm saying we have absolutely no idea of the extent of how much ceramics is going to be able to be used in the future now that we've been able to manipulate the chemistry just right to really get it to give us those characteristics of what we want.
Gotcha. So what partnerships and collaborations have been most valuable in growing your reach?
I've done a lot on my own, learning the chemistry, learning the robotics, learning the printings, making printers and everything. I find the next generation coming in and helping learn and taking it on to say, we need answers. I mean, Portland cement is the third item with the United Nations of what are we going to do on this planet. So the
Right.
younger generations are really coming forward to be able to work with me and learn. And that's very encouraging because these are the tools that they're going to need to be able to help solve these problems. But they're not taught in school. The
No.
miseducation on ceramics is crazy. And I don't know why. It almost tells me the first Model T Ford that Henry Ford built was electric.
Huh.
His
Go
best
figure.
friend was Thomas Edison, and they found it as a much more efficient method for transportation. But it was the Rockefellers that came and said, no, no, I sell fuel, not electricity. So we needed the combustion engine. But look
Yeah.
what it did to the planet. It covered the planet with combustion engines when now we're going back to electric. Same thing. Portland's only been around for 200 years. And now we're learning that it's not that great no matter what the cost. So now
Yeah.
we're looking for alternatives. This has been sitting there that we used before it. So now we're going back and saying, hey, well, why don't we use this? Well, it's expensive. Well, how much? Well, it's almost 9% more expensive. Well, I think for 9% we can save not building it over again. So these are the
Yeah.
things that encourage
Yeah.
me with the future of where this industry is going to go.
Perfect. Good. So I just want to go into a bit of leadership and vision. So how do you keep your team motivated when challenges stack up?
Well, when we get to a certain point, I like to cross-train. I have a long military experience. I was a combat medic. That's why I take care of my medical. I have a good knowledge there. So I like to get them into different areas so they don't get just burned out on one and have them realize that they have a big advantage of being able to have direct connection with the education that they can draw from and keep them interested. So that and being able to just, as we say, getting the best out of them, like we do in the military,
Right.
is the keystone of being able to help work with people.
So what leadership lessons have you learned since founding your company?
Being patient. I'm trying to be patient because we all have our different levels of understanding and time spans that needs to happen. So I get excited because as I get older, I want things to move faster, but it's just stop, take a break, realize that we have to take everybody together with us. So it's just that patience to be able to let people connect and learn as they need to.
Gotcha. So what's the next big investment you're wrestling with? Technology, people, or marketing?
I'm rebranding marketing. I'm putting out all the admixes that go with the chemistry. Most everybody that sells geopolymer ceramics says, here's the formula. We're not telling you what it is or how it works. It's just mix this way. Okay? Well, I give you all the information. It's a ceramic cement, and this will speed it up. This will slow it down. This is fiber to keep it from cracking. So I'm rebranding to put all that access to people so that they can get their hands on it and move everything forward.
And to date, have you incorporated any AI solutions to help your business grow?
I've used some of the AI in chemistry as it was developed, but yeah, we're using AI now to redo the descriptions in the websites to figure out what is the best explanation to confer all this information and data over to people. I think we disconnected.
I
there
lost
for
you
a
there
minute.
for about 30 seconds. Sorry.
I think we're back.
Hey.
Okay, Joseph, sorry about that.
No, no, that's okay. We had an internet problem and we're just messing up on the time trying to reconnect. So it's good that we're here. It won't be too long. Perfect. Good, good, good. Yeah, all right. So, okay, where I was leaving off. Ta, ta, ta. No. Yes, here we go. So, when you picture when you picture your company in 5 years, what does success look like?
Lots of houses being made with ceramic cement.
Perfect. Good. And what are the key steps you need to take now to get there?
Educating the next generation, just what the difference is and why we want to use more sustainable materials.
Right. Right. Good. So, yeah. So let me just go over rapid. Here, one innovation you can wait to release. So, what else is there in coming down the pipeline?
Personally, I'd like to get into the conductive geopolymers, maybe try and make a natural battery.
Cool.
Yeah, it would
Good.
to be able to print your walls, plug your solar panels in, and go from there. Long ways off, but it looks very promising. There's so much that we get to do with this material, it's unheard of. The Chinese are looking to be able to use it on the moon to print structure. There is water there, so the whole planet's covered with volcanic ash, so it's a perfect medium to use the ceramic cement.
Well, that's great. Perfect. Well, William, it's been really insightful and quite educational, and I appreciate your time and everything. So, how could our viewers get in touch with you?
You can contact us at gpi.earth. That's our website, or geopolymerinternational.com. The shorter is just gpi.earth. We're putting together education and the materials available for all those that want to start a new revolution in building. And I really appreciate you having me on so that we can get the word out. I think these are very important, these podcasts, because anymore the information you get is pretty well corporized. The corporations hold out what they want you to know and what you don't want, so it's very important that we're able to get down to the grassroots and get this information out.
Perfect. And can they find you on LinkedIn?
Yes, I'm on LinkedIn. I believe William Hoff or Geopolymer International. I do have Out of the Box Construction as a general contractor. That's my construction side that's available. All that is open for everybody to get a hold of and can contact us accordingly.
And a website for your construction company?
Outoftheboxconstruction.com.
Perfect. That's great. Good. Again, thanks for your time. Well, thank you, everybody watching. This has been the Business Exchange. Until next time, take care.
Thank you, Joseph.